what surviving every major war as a common soldier would feel like. Ancient warfare. You're a common foot soldier in the ancient world. Most of the time, you don't even have proper armor. You carry a shield, a spear, maybe a short sword, and that's it. Battles are brutal and personal. You stand shoulder to shoulder with hundreds of other men and push forward until someone breaks. The noise is overwhelming. Shouting, metal clashing, men screaming. If the line collapses, you get trampled into the dirt or stabbed from behind. Even if you survive the fighting, a small cut can kill you weeks later from infection because there's no real medicine. You march for days with almost no food, sleep on the ground, and deal with dysentery that leaves you weak and dehydrated. Home feels like a distant memory. Many soldiers never return, and those who do often come back permanently injured or broken. Medieval wars. Now you're a peasant forced into a medieval army. Your equipment is whatever you can afford. Maybe a leather jerkin, a cheap helmet, and a spear. Knights on horseback can smash through your ranks like you're not even there. Most of the time, you're not fighting glorious battles. You're sitting outside a castle during a siege that can last months. You starve. You freeze. Disease spreads through the camp faster than any enemy. Dysentery, typhoid, and infected wounds kill far more men than swords ever do. You sleep in mud, eat rotten food, and watch friends waste away. When the fighting finally comes, it's chaotic and terrifying. One wrong move and you're cut down. Surviving means enduring constant hunger, filth, and the knowledge that your life is worth almost nothing to the lords who sent you here. Napoleonic Wars. You're marching 25 to 30 kilometers a day in heavy wool uniforms under the sun or through freezing rain. Your pack digs into your shoulders. Your musket feels heavier with every hour. In battle, you stand in tight lines while cannons fire grape shot that turns entire rows of men into red mist in seconds. The smoke is so thick, you can barely see who's shooting at you. The noise is deafening. If you're hit, the field hospital is a nightmare. Surgeons saw off arms and legs with no anesthetic while you bite down on a piece of leather. Infection is almost guaranteed. Many soldiers die not from the wound itself, but from the fever that follows. You live with constant exhaustion, fear of the next battle, and the slow realization that most of the men around you will never see home again. American Civil War. The weapons are more accurate now. Standing in formation is basically suicide. Mini balls smash through bone and leave wounds that almost always mean amputation. Field hospitals are surrounded by piles of severed limbs. The smell of blood and rotting flesh never leaves. Disease is still the biggest killer. Twice as many men die from illness as from combat. You dig trenches in the heat, march through mud that sucks the boots off your feet, and sleep in the open during freezing nights. Letters from home become the only thing that keeps you going, but you never know if you'll live long enough to write back. The mental toll is heavy. You watch friends die in seconds and then have to keep moving like nothing happened. World War I. This is where survival becomes something completely different. You're living in trenches filled with knee-deep water and mud that never dries. Rats the size of cats run over you while you sleep. Lice infest every piece of clothing. The smell of death is constant. Artillery can bury you alive without warning. Gas attacks burn your lungs and eyes. When the order comes to go over the top, you climb out of the trench and walk slowly into machine gun fire because running makes you a bigger target. Many men simply disappear in the mud. Even if you survive the war, the trauma stays with you for life. Nightmares, sudden panic at loud noises, and the inability to talk about what you saw become normal. Coming home doesn't feel like survival. It feels like carrying the war inside you forever. World War II. The scale is bigger, and the weapons are far more destructive. As an infantry soldier, you face tanks, dive bombers, artillery barrages, and machine guns that can wipe out an entire squad in moments. In the Pacific, you're fighting in crushing heat and humidity with malaria, monsoons, and dense jungle that hides the enemy until they're right on top of you. In Europe, you're freezing in winter foxholes or clearing cities house by house, never knowing what's behind the next door. Supply lines get cut. Food runs out. You watch friends die in ways that leave nothing recognizable. Sleep becomes a luxury. Fear becomes background noise. Surviving means learning to keep functioning even when everything inside you is screaming to stop. Vietnam War. You're a young soldier dropped into dense jungle with heavy gear and no clear front line. The enemy can be anywhere. Booby traps, ambushes, and tunnels make every step potentially fatal. The heat and humidity never let up. Monsoons turn the ground into thick mud. At night, the jungle comes alive with sounds, and you don't know which ones mean danger. Patrols can last for days with almost no sleep. Coming under fire feels sudden and chaotic. Medics do what they can, but serious wounds often mean a long, painful wait for evacuation. When you finally rotate home, many soldiers find that the war doesn't stay behind. The memories, the hypervigilance, and the feeling of being permanently changed follow them for decades. Modern wars. Iraq and Afghanistan gear is better. Body armor and medical care save more lives than ever before. But the danger is different. IEDs can destroy a vehicle in a fraction of a second. Snipers and ambushes still exist. The desert heat is brutal. Long deployments mean months of constant stress with limited contact home. You go on patrol knowing that any piece of trash on the side of the road could be a bomb. Even when you're not in direct combat, the tension never fully leaves. Many soldiers survive the physical fighting only to struggle with traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, and the difficulty of returning to normal life. Surviving the war is only the first part. Learning how to live afterward is the second. Surviving any of these wars as a common soldier was never just about avoiding bullets. It was about enduring hunger, disease, exhaustion, filth, constant fear, and the slow mental cost of watching people die around you day after day while knowing you could be next. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and tell me which era I should go even deeper on.